Happiness belongs to the self-sufficient. It is of the nature of desire not to be satisfied, and most men live only for the gratification of it. Whatever lies within our power to do lies also within our power not to do. Democracy arose from men's thinking that if they are equal in any respect, they are equal absolutely. Man is a goal-seeking animal. His life only has meaning if he is reaching out and striving for his goals. All who have meditated on the art of governing mankind have been convinced that the fate of empires depends on the education of youth. It is the mark of an educated man to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. The best friend is the man who, in wishing me well, wishes it for my sake. Moral excellence comes about as a result of habit. We become just by doing just acts, temperate by doing temperate acts, brave by doing brave acts. These virtues are formed in man by his doing the actions. The good of man is a working of the soul and the way of excellence in a complete life. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. The weak are always anxious for justice and equality. The strong pay no heed to either. With respect to the requirement of art, the probable impossible is always preferable to the improbable possible. We become brave by doing brave acts. If you would understand anything, observe its beginning and its development. Man is by nature a political animal. Comedy aims at representing men as worse, tragedy as better than in actual life. Philosophy can make people sick. The only stable state is the one in which all men are equal before the law. Through discipline comes freedom. He is his own best friend and takes delight in privacy, whereas the man of no virtue or ability is his own worst enemy and was afraid of solitude. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. To lead an orchestra, you must turn your back on the crowd. The soul never thinks without a mental picture. Time crumbles things, everything grows old under the power of time and is forgotten through the lapse of time. All earthquakes and disasters are warnings. There's too much corruption in the world. Poetry is finer and more philosophical than history, for poetry expresses the universal, and history only the particular. We must be neither cowardly nor rash but courageous. Youth is easily deceived because it is quick to hope. We are what we repeatedly do. Greatness, then, is not an act, but a habit. Memory is the scribe of the soul. Men create gods after their own image, not only with regard to their form, but with regard to their mode of life. The gods too are fond of a joke. Plot is character revealed by action. If things do not turn out as we wish, we should wish for them as they turn out. The more you know you don't know. All paid jobs absorb and degrade the mind. Happiness is a state of activity. Wise men speak when they have something to say, fools speak because they have to say something. Misfortune shows those who are not really friends. Learning is an ornament in prosperity, a refuge in adversity, and a provision in old age. All persons ought to endeavor to follow what is right, and not what is established. Nature does nothing uselessly. A friend is a second self. We make war that we may live in peace. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. In all things of nature there is something of the marvelous. The law is reason free from passion. Great men are always of a nature originally melancholy. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Fear is pain arising from the anticipation of evil. The secret to humor is surprise. The aim of the wise is not to secure pleasure, but to avoid pain. Where your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation. Mothers are fonder than fathers of their children because they are more certain they are their own. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. Hope is a waking dream. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. A friend to all is a friend to none. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Those who educate children well are more to be honored than they who produce them, for these only gave them life, those the art of living well. To perceive is to suffer. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living differ from the dead. Those who know, do. Those that understand, teach. Whosoever is delighted in solitude, is either a wild beast or a god. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who conquers his enemies, for the hardest victory is over self. The antidote for 50 enemies is one friend. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. It is not enough to win a war, it is more important to organize the peace. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. Learning is not child's play, we cannot learn without pain. I have gained this by philosophy. I do without being ordered, but some are constrained to do by the fear of the law. To write well, express yourself like the common people, but think like a wise man. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes: chance, nature, compulsion, habit, reason, passion, and desire. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. It is not always the same thing to be a good man and a good citizen. Wit is educated insolence. Without friends, no one would want to live, even if he had all other goods. He who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who overcomes his enemies. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in the consciousness that we deserve them. All men by nature desire knowledge,